Hi, Best Buds. It's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Today we're going to take one envelope, I've coffee dyed mine, and one paper bag, and we're going to make the cutest little journal together. Won't you join me? So we have an envelope, and my envelope is 4 3/4 inches by 6 1/2 inches. And my paper bag is 4 inches by 6 inches. Now, if you have a different size envelope, that's okay. You'll want to get a bag that fits within the envelope. What I mean by that is that it doesn't stick out on any of the sides. It fits within the envelope. Now, if you have an envelope, but you don't have a bag to work with, you can make your own bag. It's a seed pocket type of bag where you fold up the bottom, you fold the sides in. We've had quite a few videos about making these. They're not hard at all. So you'll want to have one bag and one envelope, and you want the bag to be within the outer edges of the envelope. Now on my envelope here, I've got a little tearing right here where the flap is. So I want to go ahead and strengthen that a little bit. I have a pair of my scissors. I'm going to actually trim this right here. So I'm trimming the side of the pocket of the envelope so that, well, basically so that I can lay something right here at the fold and it won't interfere. Now I've cut it, I think I'll just trim that off. I should have kept those scissors. I'm just going to trim these completely off, flush with the edge of the envelope, just like that. So let's do this one real quick. I still don't have my internet. They haven't come to fix my line yet, so bear with me while we're working through this, right guys? So hopefully it's not glitchy or anything like that. Now I have a piece of fabric, and my fabric is 2 inches by 6 1/2, and I made it this size so that I can easily place it right here on the fold where my envelope folds, so I can still get in my pocket here and it's not sticking out on the edge. Now it looks like it might come in contact with this strip here. I'm going to need to cover that strip because I don't want that to be so sticky, right? I have a piece of coffee dyed paper. I have this portion here that has a doily imprint. I'm going to remove this strip that covers the sticky part of the envelope, self-sealing envelope, and I'm going to apply my glue maybe down about this far and then fill it in. I'm using my art glitter glue, and then I'm going to place this right here so that I can cover up that sticky and it'll still be decorative. And then I'm going to need to trim it out. I have it all trimmed. Now I could have brought it all the way down and fixed my little issue here and not worry about putting the fabric there, but the fabric adds just a little bit of interest and I thought it would be fun. I'm going to crease this, just kind of give it a crease to give me an idea of where the halfway portion is of this strip of paper. I'm going to switch to my Lean's Tacky Glue, and I'm going to place my glue down on one side of the fold. So something like this. And then I'm going to lay my fabric down in that glue and kind of try to keep it at that halfway portion. Now I'll need to come back and glue this portion down, but I'm going to go ahead and get this side glued down first. So now I'm going to add it to my fabric. And then get this portion glued down. I'm going to fix this off camera, get this glued down, and then we'll continue. I cut myself another strip of fabric, and I would like to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the outside of my envelope. That worked out pretty well. There's my tear right there, so I'm going to do it similar. I'm going to do it in a similar way. And laying my fabric. It did help to crease my fabric first to give me an idea of where that fold would be. And then I'm going to glue down this side, and I'm going to finish with this. And then we'll continue. All right, so I've got it all glued down. And now let's bring in our bag. What I'd like to do is I would like to place my bag, and I think I would like to do maybe something like this. And let's go ahead and glue this bag onto the flap of our envelope. I'm looking at the edges and thinking I'm going to use this line right here. So with that said, I'm going to grab my glue, and because I'm on fabric, I'm going to keep with my Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm going to glue this down. Just lay my bag right in that glue. Just looking at all my sides. That looks about even. Pretty good. Okay, now we have the cover basically of our little journal. That's looking really cute. I have a digital here that I thought would be really sweet. It's from My Porch Prints. I believe this little piece came with this kit, and I thought we could place that right here. So maybe something like this would be really sweet. Yes, it's going to be in the lavender colors, you guys. Before I glue this portion down, I'd like to add a little bit of lace right here on the bottom of the bag. Now I'm going to switch to my hot glue gun to glue this on. So just like this. The reason why I didn't use my hot glue gun to glue the fabric down is because hot glue doesn't bend very well, and I needed to be able to bend right here on the fold of the envelope. So that's why I chose to use the Aleene's tacky glue. All right, now I kind of know where to position this little piece of ephemera. And I could either glue it completely down, or I could add another tuck spot. I actually think I'm going to glue mine completely down. All right, so I've got a tag here from Chapter 1 Papers, and I put a Sari silk bow from Crimson Heart Studios on the top. I have a little tiny piece of scrap right here, and I'm going to kind of smush it on, basically, scritch it on, just kind of make a little wad, basically, right here of this Sari silk. Maybe just like that. I'm going to widen this up a little bit more glue right here. Okay, and I had a little piece of bling. What on earth happened to it? I have no idea. All right, so I popped the bling right down here at the bottom. Let's go ahead and open this up, and I was thinking maybe I could put some type of pocket or belly band down here at the bottom. I have a couple more pieces from this little ephemera packet that is from My Porch Prints. Oh, that's really pretty. I just need to maybe make this just a little shorter. All right, so I've got my little piece cut, and let's pop it maybe about, I'm just looking at my grid mark, maybe pop it about right there. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue and just adding a little bit on either end. We're going to make a belly band out of this little piece, like that. I think it needs a little help right down here. I don't know. I don't think it looks as pretty as I would like. I'm looking for the end of my Sari silk that I have on my table. I have no idea what's happening. Here we are. And maybe if we just kind of, I'm not sure if I just want to glue that down on there or maybe scritch it. I don't really like the way this looks right here. Or possibly we could just stick another piece right here. That's possible. I have this to place in the belly band. See, I don't know. I think that's too much going on. I need a little something down here. All right, I think just a little piece of lace right here at the end of the fabric, maybe something like this, I think is all it really needs. So let me get that glued on. When I glued this strip on, I left it to be a tuck spot so we can tuck a little piece of ephemera or two in here. And then we also have another pocket right here from the envelope, so we can place another piece of ephemera inside there. And right here on the edge, I think it might need a little something more. I have some paper flowers and I have a little bit of net. Let's add this net so that we can get a little bit of movement going. And then I think I want the pink flower first on the bottom. And then let's place the white flower. Maybe something like that. I also have a little bit of bling here. Let's put some bling in the center of our flowers. Now this is the back page of the little journal. So this is the inside front. So let's add a little bit of bling right here too. I think that looks really sweet. All right, so now let's move to the very back of our little journal. I have a piece of Sari silk here, and it is 13, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And this Sari silk is roughly 30.5 inches long. I want to find the center. So let's find the center right here. And then I'd like to use this as my closure, but I need to glue it down onto my journal like this. So I'm going to use that fabric tack, or excuse me, that tacky glue again and get it glued down. Okay, that was kind of a disaster. Trying to get this video, keep going with my design. I had to switch to my hot glue, so it's got hot glue and tacky glue on here. So that's kind of a mess. But anyway, so I'm just kind of auditioning. Oh, good heavens. What kind of back do I want on this? Oh, I really like this butterfly. Now I'm going to switch and use my art glitter glue. And I'm going to apply my glue generously on here. And then this is what I'm going to use to kind of keep my closure in place. Yeah, keep it in place. I'm just smoothing it out as best I can. Okay, that's nice. All right, now let's go back to, this is going to be really pretty, isn't it? Especially if you love lavender. Now, I have made some pages. I have coffee dyed tracing paper, coffee dyed plain paper, lined book page. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 12 pages. And I'm going to pop it right here into my little journal. I'm not going to sew that closure. I'm definitely going to keep it out of the way. I'm going to pin this and we're going to sew this in. All right, let's sew this in. Now, if you've been watching my videos at all, you know I always use this method. It's a very simple stitch to sew your signatures in. You're going to need a piece of paper that is as long as your journal. This is about 2 inches wide, 2 inches, something like that. You fold it in half the long way, and half again, and then one more time, and you crease it really well. You open it back up and you put a dot where the folds intersect. Then you place this in your spine of your journal like this. Just going to keep it in place, and then with your awl, the dots are going to tell you where you're going to place your hole so that you can sew your signature in. And this will allow you, it's going through that fabric, this will allow you to have your holes placed evenly. So your signature is going to be sewn evenly, and there's no math involved. Then you take your thread and your needle and you go in the first hole, or the center hole, the center hole, and then one of the other holes. I'm looking because it's kind of hard to see with that fabric. But boy, that has strengthened that spine so much. All right, pull it through. Always check to make sure it's not caught on anything, and watch that Sari silk closure that we placed on already. And now right back through the center again. Well, let me see here. Back through again. There we go. Alrighty, now if you're using embroidery thread, you'll want to keep your signature open while you let the glue, you have to put a little dot of glue, because embroidery thread will loosen up over time and then your signature will wobble. So embroidery thread gets a little dollop of glue at the knot. But remember, you have to leave your book open while it dries. All right, so we've got our signature all sewn in. All right, so I sewed the signature in, and we've got the dangles on there. Oh, they're so pretty. I think the fabric on the spine really does add something, don't you think, guys? Oh, I love the lavender. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.